Hello everybody and welcome to another F1 2020 video. We're back with the League of Speed in Tier 2 at Spa. Now this is a very difficult tier. There is lots of super fast drivers in this tier. So we're not expecting a good result. A top 5 will be a victory for us. But we've been on absolute flying form so far this week. It's a wet qualifying, as you can see. So let's see what we can manage through this evening. We're going to run on board for a few laps with the qualifying. I just ran out with a load of fuel and just sort of got to learn the track. Did lap after lap. Went back in for a new fresh set of inters right at the end of the session to set one final lap. We straight away from the get-go we were feeling pretty good in the wet, same as we did on Thursday. As you can see, set in purple sectors. We were topping the timesheets for pretty much the majority of the session, and today has been no different. We've been absolutely on it, so I think our pace is pretty strong in the wet. As you can see, we lock up, run very deep into the chicane and lose about 5/10 worth of lap time, so it's not ideal, but we're still up and we managed to crawl a couple of tenths back again through the next corner. So there's a lot more potential in this lap time. We're currently sat in P1 provisional pole. We're already improving. As you saw, we lost nearly half a second through that hairpin as well, so there's an awful lot more time left in the tank. All about avoiding the curves. You get those curbs are so slippery. As you can see, as soon as we touch a wheel on that curb, we lose the back end ever so slightly. But purple to the middle sector once again. This is now going to be 6.5, nearly 7 tenths up on our previous best, and we're already about a few tenths. I think about 3 tenths to second place. So this is going to put us out of reach from most people. Come up to the line now, 7 tenths improvement, gives us a 154.5, and it puts us a second faster than Jamie in second place at the moment. We've got a massive slide through the first corner, but despite that we still get really good traction, and we're already a tenth or so up on this second lap. Trying to keep it absolutely flat through Eau Rouge. Very difficult in these conditions, but we've managed to do it. On purple again, sector 1. We're already 2.5, 3 tenths up on our best lap time. We go past Orsat, who's spun in the Mercedes, down into this hairpin that we mucked up last time. Let's not do that again. So we go a little bit conservative, but we gain a load of lap time still. Missed the apex by miles, nearly run wide. Again, probably lose about half a tenth through that left-hander, but it's okay. We're still on for a pretty good lap. Coming into the bit more technical middle sector now. Just using a little bit of curb there, but you can see how slippery the curbs are as we lose the back end on the exit there. Puts us out of shape for the next right hander. We miss the apex, lose a bit of time again, but we get on the power nicely up to the straight. And it's looking so far to be a 4/10 improvement. In through the last bus stop chicane. Losing a little bit here, but we're about 4 tenths up, and then we get a big slide coming out of it. Can't put the power down, and we lose all the time that we've gained and end up going slower just in that one corner. So that would have done well, but the come towards the end of the session now, my last lap, it is drying up, as you can see. We've been knocked down to 3rd position. If we hadn't lost the time on that previous lap, that we would have still been in pole. So we've got one chance now. The session is pretty much over. The checkered flag falls in a second. So let's see what we can do. It is quicker, the track now, because it's drier, but it also means it's a lot more difficult to drive on these intermediates. It's probably dry weather tyres now you could probably get away with, but it's so slippery. And we're careful not to overheat our inters. We're gaining heaps of time. You can see we're 7 tenths up already. We got a lot more committed into this hairpin of the right hander, and you can see the lap time we're gaining from our previous lap. And as we head down the hill into Pouhon, You can see we are 1.2 seconds up nearly. So this is going to be a mega lap. And putting the power down as hard as we can, and we get a massive slide run off the circuit, but we get away with it. We haven't invalidated the lap, but we have lost 6.5 tenths nearly in that mistake. So we're still going, we're still up on our time delta. It's not the end of the world, but we've lost a massive chunk of time with that mistake. As you can see, it's just so slippery, even though it's the track's drying out now because we're on intermediate tyres. They're overheating, and we're really struggling. Into the last bus stop chicane once more, and we've managed to gain a load more time back once again. Up to the line. It's going to be nearly an 8 tenths improvement, and that puts us on pole, 153.7. So super happy with that. That is 3 tenths away from our nearest rival, and you saw how much time we lost with that mistake through the middle sector. So it's a pretty good performance in qualifying. Very happy with that. It is going to be a dry race, a pretty simple soft to mediums. So without further ado, let's get into it. 5 lights. And away we go. It's a pretty good getaway, actually. We managed to get to the turn 1 ahead of anyone else. Get through the corner nice and cleanly. And we have already got ourselves about a 6/10 gap coming out the corner. As we pop to a replay now, we have some super fast people in this lobby. It's not just 1 or 2. There is probably about 7 or 8 drivers in this lobby that are so quick and all capable of winning. So we're going to have to watch our back during this race. But that is the perfect getaway that we wanted. As we head up Eau Rouge for the first time now. We run a little bit wide, get our first track limits warning, which is not ideal. But we've already pulled a second to the cars behind us, which is exactly what we need. Jamie and new guy DJ Carolus, they are fighting amongst themselves for second position, so it's just allowing us to break free from both of them. As you can see, driving nice and calm and composed, and as we come into the middle sector, we've already got ourselves a 2-second lead. Absolutely incredible. We've been on fire this week so far. We've won every single league race that we have taken part in, and our pace has been super strong around this circuit, especially in the wet conditions, but in the dry also. As we fast forward the rest of this lap now, as we get towards the end, you can see the gap now. We've pulled 2.1, 2.2 seconds. We don't want to use our tyres too much. Again, we don't want to absolutely go for it and destroy our tyres. We know there's a good chance of safety cars or anything in this race. So let's just save our battery a little bit, save a bit of fuel where we can. We've only got +1 lap of fuel, and it is a very fast circuit. So we don't want to go too hard too early. Just keep that gap at about 2 seconds or so if we can. As we fast forward through this first lap, we go purple again, sector 1. You can see we're just keeping that gap nice and consistent. We're not pushing too hard. We're not using the track limits like we should. But onto the second lap now. Orsat retires and brings the virtual safety car out.
Reduce speed and maintain a positive delta.
First virtual safety car of the evening. As we go to the end of that virtual safety car, we give ourselves plenty of time, over a second as we come into this chicane. We'd rather lose a bit of time to the guys behind, but both Jamie and DJ behind us get a drive-through penalty, and Jamie, just to make matters worse, spins it coming out of the chicane. Not sure what happened there. So we're now in a very strong position because we have a good gap, 2.3 seconds behind us, even more so coming out of the first corner. But the guy in second place has a drive-through as well. So we're looking like this race victory is pretty certain at this point. We've got Chris and Kieran behind DJ. They are very fast drivers indeed. So we're going to be a little bit wary of them. But like we said, you know, we're just trying to save our fuel, trying to save our battery. We've got that gap. And if we're clever about this, we've saved our tyres, saved the battery and fuel, that if they start mounting a charge on us, we can start defending and keeping that gap as big as possible. Coming up to the end of the third lap now. You see, we've just kept the gap 2.3 seconds through the last bus stop chicane, up to the line, and it's going to be fastest lap of the race, 1:47.4. But Chris comes across the line, has managed to get into second place, and he goes a tenth faster. So the race is on now. We know that Chris and Kieran behind are very intent on attacking us, or trying to crawl back to that advantage that I have over them. It's been a lovely start for us, but let's not relax this too soon. So we just use just a little bit more battery. Like I said, we're still saving it. We're not overusing it, but we just use a little bit more battery than we did the previous lap. Little bit more fuel, just to try and keep that gap a bit fast, about the same, because we know now Chris and Kieran are a bit faster than DJ was when he was behind us, so we're a little bit more vulnerable again. Once again, we get red first sector, but we get a purple middle sector through the last bus stop chicane once more. It's a very long lap at Spa this, and we managed to go purple once again, 1:47.2, which is 3/7 improvement, but Kieran goes faster once again. So we know that Kieran has the pace as well at this point, because he gets past Chris, but he does have a 3-second penalty to his name. The gap at this point is about 3 seconds, just over, and we, over the course of the next few laps, we maintain that gap as much as we can. Like I said, we don't want to use too much battery, don't want to use too much fuel, but we don't want him eking into that gap too much. We've got a little buffer now, let's use it. Coming on to lap 8, he's got the gap down to about 2.2, 2.4 sort of the seconds. It's been hovering around that mark. He's been gradually reining it in by about a tenth or two a lap, but I feel like I've got it covered fairly well. I don't feel like I'm under too much pressure. I feel like I can use a lot more battery, I can use a lot more fuel if I want. So I feel like at the moment we've got this covered. So the last thing I want right now is a safety car, but it's soon our pit window. Jeff wanted us to stop last lap, but we're going to eke it out. We're going to probably do one more lap after this and then go on to the medium tyres, because the softs we've managed to last pretty well, and we want to make sure that we don't have older tyres than the guys around us come the end of the race. But as we come into this right hand hairpin now, the safety car is deployed, just what we don't want to happen. So that gap that we have worked hard for is going to be reduced to nothing. No choice really, you'd be silly not to pit now at this point, so we pit in for the medium compound tyres. No rush, we are very likely to come out in first position. It's going to be a pretty easy stop and come back out again in the same position. Everyone behind us is going to pit as well, that hasn't done. And out the pits we come, and it is as expected. First position still. Kieran behind me on fresh mediums as well. Catch back up to end of lap 11. Safety cars in this lap, and now we're feeling a bit more vulnerable because we had similar pace to Kieran, knowing that we were saving the battery before the safety car. So now he is within a second of me, and so he's going to get the slipstream and even the DRS within a couple of laps. So I'm feeling very vulnerable right now, and let's see what we can go. We're not very quick into the bus stop chicane at the end, but we're quick out of it. But we decide to go just before it, and then we brake very early coming into it. Kieran misjudges where I brake to and gives me a little shove up the rear. That is my fault completely, really. I just braked too early. But we've got a reasonable restart. It is about a half a second gap. No DRS just yet. But that slipstream is so powerful. When you're under 0.6 of a second, it is super, super powerful on this game. Up Eau Rouge now. And yeah, we're about half a second. We're managing to hold it off. We're hoping that Chris behind Kieran is going to start attacking, and they start sort of weaving and trying to avoid each other, and as do I, trying to break that slipstream if I can.
You're managing it well.
But we feel like we do have the pace. Kieran has 3 seconds worth of time penalties. Chris will get 3 seconds in the next lap or two as well. So I know that even if they do get past me, I'm more than capable of sitting in behind them basically, or even re-overtaking them with DRS. Our paces are pretty similar at this point. We're trying to pull a gap, but we're not getting away from them. They are, like we said, the pace of us all are very similar between us three this evening. It's very difficult to pick a winner out of us lot. Coming into the last sector, Kieran catches us back up a little bit again, and he's 4/10 away from me, so he's going to be in that really super strong slipstream sort of gap, if you will. And you can see he's catching on us so quickly through that last straight, but you're not going to be able to make a move through that flat out left-hander, so he has to back off slightly, which gives us a tiny bit of breathing space. We lock up, run a bit deep into the bus stop chicane, and now we are very vulnerable. Kieran is all over the back of us, and I think he's going to make a move soon if he can. Let's focus on getting a nice exit out of this first corner, which we do manage to do. Let's use up as much battery as we possibly can on the run down to Eau Rouge, but Kieran is still there. He's only 4/10. We run a bit wide through Eau Rouge, which costs us a 10th or 2, and Kieran is now right in behind us. He's in the slipstream, but we're going to defend this as hard as we can. We're going to cover the inside line, force him the long way round, then squeeze him as much as we can, but leave him a car's width. He's gone round the outside, but we're side by side. I'm holding it around the outside, and he comes round and knocks my wing off and pushes me off the track. Can't believe that. What I find out afterwards, he went over the curb and lost his back end. I thought he sideswiped me at the time, but it was completely unintentional. We've discussed it after the race, and all good about it. But you can see he loses the back end, overcorrects, and just piles straight into the side of me. And that is orange front wing damage, which is absolutely going to wreck my race. Chris is now all over the back of me. He's going to have a run on me into this hairpin. I've got no front end grip, locking up and running wide, as you can see. Jason's all over the back of us as well. We're having a look at the inside of Chris, who turns in on her, give him a little tap for good measure, and we just decide to let Jason through because we're just going to end up making our race even worse by fighting more people. There's no point at this current stage in time. As we fast forward the rest of the lap now, you can see I'm already losing so much time. That wing damage is absolutely crippling me. I'm tempted to pit and go on wing change and go on to fresh soft compound tyres, but the game reckons I'll drop down into about 13th place, and I don't want that at all. So we've got a good gap behind us, so let's try and hold on as Jason goes to pit for his drive-through penalty that he got earlier on in the race. As the laps roll by, you can see we are losing so much time to the guys in front. That wing damage is really making us struggle, but we're holding a reasonable gap behind us. But we do have Jamie now closing in on us pretty fast, so we're going to have to watch out for him. He is on hard compound tyres, but he's much faster than us, and obviously we have that damage, so our pace is struggling. We're just hoping that we can hold on as long as we can. We got a second track limits warning of the evening, but the guys behind us have penalties as well, so if we can hold them off long enough, we might be able to stay within the time of their penalties and actually get the position back. And coming into the middle sector now, you can see Jamie is caught right up to the back of us, and you can see the understeer that we're getting is horrendous. We're really struggling to keep it on the circuit even. But let's get a nice drive out of here, use up a bit of battery. But Jamie's going to get in our slipstream, and he might well have a look up the inside of us into this bus stop chicane. I don't think he's going to be close enough. I think we're going to be okay. But he's getting very close on the brakes, and as we come out this left-hander, watching the mirror, Jamie puts a bit too much power down and spins his Renault around. So that gives us a bit of breathing space. But fast forward to the end of lap 19, Angel has now caught up to us in the McLaren and is looking to get past. Again, he has 5 seconds worth of penalties, so it's not the end of the world, but we want to hold him up if we can. But this is one of the areas we're really strong at. Coming off of turn 1, we're really good at getting the power down, which is helping us then in a straight line up Eau Rouge, up Railillon, and along the Tremel Straight. and as you can see, we managed to actually gap him just a little bit. He's still got DRS. He's 0.6 away from me and is only pulling him in closer now. We keep it neat and tidy. We're watching our mirrors quite a lot. And coming into this right-hander, we make our first mistake. We lock up, run very, very wide. He has a look at the inside. We try to give him space, but he ends up running into the side of us and spins himself round. And that has given us breathing space once again. I tried to give him as much space as I could, but it wasn't going to happen. But let's go on to the last lap of the Grand Prix. Jamie has caught up with us once again, and there is a train of cars behind us that are wanting all to get past. But let's see if we can hold on. They have time penalties, as I said before, so it's not the end of the world, but I'm fighting for pride now. I want to finish third on the road rather than get it under penalties. Up Eau Rouge, up Raidillon, and the Kemmel Straight, and we've got a nice run indeed away from Jamie, but he's got that slipstream and that DRS, and he's catching on us. Through the middle sector now, and this is where we're going to struggle because we've got no front end grip whatsoever. We're pushing as hard as we can. We don't want to run wide and get ourselves a corner cutting penalty ourselves, because if we do, then that could be game over if they do get past us. But we're managing to hold him off fairly well at this point. We get a really nice run through Pouhon with the damage that we've got, which is quite nice. But then this right-hander and left-hander we're going to really struggle on. You can see how much more grip Jamie has in that Renault. So we've got to defend the inside so we don't get a great exit onto the backstroke. But let's use all of our batteries, saved up 35%. Let's use it all on the run down to the bus stop chicane. He is right behind us now. He's not going to be able to make a move before that flat out left-hander. And coming out of it, we're going to defend. We're going to hug the right-hand side. He wants to go to the inside. We're going to force him round the long way. And he goes round much later on the brakes, hangs it round, but we hang it round the outside once again, up to the start, finish straight. It's going to be side by side. We get a little bit of wheel spin, and he's just got the position on us. It doesn't matter because of the penalties he has, but what a finish. That was a photo finish and a half. Best race finish I've ever had, and fair play to Jamie. There was some cracking racing. But that is third place. A race of what could have been a frustrating race, but ultimately I'm super happy. I know my pace was so strong this evening against some incredibly fast drivers. So hats off to them. Well done to Kieran. Yeah, we've discussed about the contact, as I said, and put it behind us. Other than that, he drove a fantastic race and deserved the victory. Chris too in second place had a great race and a pretty good third place in the end for us. Could have been an awful lot worse, so we'll take that one. But thank you very much for joining us this evening. Once again, if you could please like and subscribe, that'd be brilliant. But until next time, bye bye.